Hello knitters, it's me, Christina, back with a Knitter's Life podcast. It's another rainy afternoon and I'm trying to record this during rest time, so we'll see. The boys just went down. We'll see if I am interrupted. But anyways, how are you guys? It's definitely fall now, which is fun. We had an early fall the last time I recorded, an early taste of fall, but then we kind of went back into summer temperatures, and so which was nice. It was nice to enjoy a bit more summer while it lasted, but it's cold and rainy, so it's fall and the leaves are gorgeous. I hope they're beautiful wherever you are, or if you are headed into spring and summer on the other side of the world, I hope you're having a lovely season. We just finished a busy season here at this house. All my husband and my two boys have birthdays all in a month's time. So between August 23rd and September 23rd, all three birthdays are smashed in there. And this time it was Arthur's first birthday. So, of course, bigger celebrations than perhaps you normally would have. So it meant busy times. So I apologize for being away again longer than I was hoping to, but that's my life. I've got two little kids. But we had a lovely birthday season, and now the birthday season has ended and we're really enjoying fall. And so I hope you guys are too. Have you gone to any fiber festivals or any of the fiber festivities that happen in the fall? I did. I finally got to one. I was so excited. I actually rescheduled Arthur's first birthday celebration with my family so that I could go to one. And they were gracious enough to me and said that they could do it the following weekend so that I could attend the wool gathering, which was so much fun. It was my first time attending the wool gathering over in Yellow Springs, Ohio. And I really enjoyed it. I didn't know what to expect. Our fiber festival here happens in the spring, and it's used to be a rather large affair. Well, large. Maybe a medium-sized affair. I guess large I consider, I should say, would be more like Rhinebeck or something like that, right? But maybe that's an extra large fiber event. But it used to be a good sized without being too big and being too exhausting. But it has, and that was about 10 years ago that I'm talking about, so quite a long time ago. It was just the perfect size. And over the years, it's kind of dwindled down to be really just 2 to 3 barns full of vendors, which is, if you remember it from 10 years ago, it's a little disappointing. If you're going with fresh eyes, I'm sure it's still exciting. And I do like to go. I didn't get there this year, and I was so sad. And then I missed the fiber event here in Indiana in June, the Hoosier Hills. And so I was feeling very, I just had the fiber festival crave, So I was so excited that we could make it over to the wool gathering, and my friend went over with me. Brownie Knits. She is wonderful. Her husband volunteered to drive us over, which meant that we sat in the back and knitted and chatted the whole time. It was so much fun. It was like being driven to a retreat with your own personal chauffeur. It felt very luxurious, especially for me, who, as a mom, you're always taking care of people. So for somebody else to drive and just to sit and relax in the back, it was so awesome. We chatted the whole time, so we didn't, all the way over there, when her husband said, "We're here," we were like, "Really?" And it was almost as if, we haven't finished our thought. Could you go around the block one more time? But also we were excited to be there. So anyways, we had too much fun. And it was larger than I thought it would be, although I really didn't know what to expect. I think the parking and the people looked larger because there were several different events going on there that day. But it was a lot of fun. It was very stimulating creatively, and it was fun to see people enjoying fibery things. And I picked up some stuff for spinning, which I don't have a lot of access here in central Indiana. There is one shop that carries fibery things, which is nice, but I don't get out there very often. Actually, take it that back. There are two. There's one up north and there's one out west, and I just never ever get to the one up north. The one out west I occasionally get to, and it's a nice shop and it has nice things. But I was so excited to pick up some more fibery goodness. So of course I had to pick up orange, right? This is a merino blend of orange from a delightful farm there in Ohio. And I picked up 3 ounces. So it's probably going to spin it, well, it's already on the spinning wheel, and I'm spinning it really thin and hoping to do a Navajo ply. So it'll be a nice worsted weight for a hat. Possibly a vest for Arthur. He would look so good in this. He has kind of reddish blonde hair, and he just looks so good in orange. So I was excited. Orange, you just have to knit orange in October. It just feels like you have to knit orange. At least I do. I think so. Then I picked up this hairy goodness. Oh my goodness. This is Romney, alpaca, and Coopsworth. And it is like a gray, dark brown, and blue. Isn't it gorgeous? This is 8 ounces for $12. Can you believe that? I could not believe that price. I had to look twice. Like 21 or 12, but it was 12. So I wish now I had picked up more of this, but oh well. I can always go back next year, right? So I was so excited. The other thing that I picked up was, and it's not in here. Oh, I've got to go get it. I'm sorry. I'll be right back. Okay, I grabbed a cup of tea and I grabbed the other thing that I purchased at the wool gathering. This is a basket from Ghana. And lovely ladies in Ghana make these and then sell them to help pay for their kids' tuition fees, which I could totally relate to. I just thought it's a wonderful project that this fair trade company is helping these women do. And I've seen them here in Indianapolis. I saw them up in South Haven when we went up this summer at the farmers market for sale, and I just I had always in the back of my mind that I really, 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 really wanted to get one. So when I saw in the second tent we went to, well, let me back up. The first tent we went into, by the time we finished we're at the end of the tent, we started seeing several ladies with these beautiful baskets, and some of them are round baskets and very, very colorful. So they're very noticeable. And I started seeing these ladies, and I thought, oh, those are those baskets that I really, really want to get. And then we entered the second tent, and we saw more ladies with beautiful baskets. And I thought, okay, I've got to ask, where did they get these? You know, and I thought maybe it wasn't at the fair, at the Fiber Festival. Maybe it was at a shop locally or somewhere. And so I went up to a lady and I said, excuse me, can you tell me where you got your basket? And she said, oh, it's right up on your right, about halfway down. You better hurry, though, because he's selling out fast. So my friend and I, we didn't exactly run, but we kind of walked really fast to the center of the tent and looked carefully for the stall. And sure enough, it looked like he had quite a few of these baskets, but he was down to maybe about 15, maybe 20, maybe 15, maybe a little less. And it was a very small booth, and there were 2 ladies in the booth looking at the baskets and so we kind of looked from a distance and waited patiently while they chose their basket, and then we went into the booth and we started looking at the baskets. And it was funny because we heard the man said to us, you know, I told my wife, I said, honey, I don't know if we should bring all these baskets because I don't know if that we'll sell them all. And she's like, oh, yes, we should. And he's like, now I realize I should have brought more. So it was kind of fun. I think that was the only thing that in his booth that he was selling were these baskets, which was kind of funny. But as we were choosing ours, and it's so hard to choose, there were so many different shapes and colors, and I don't make fast decisions very well, and so I was kind of looking at the different baskets when one lady said, hey, are you looking at the pink basket? If not, can I look at it? And so we passed it back to her. And then this one lady came right up, and she's like, I want to look at the baskets, but I just can't get in there because these women are in the way. So we grabbed a few baskets and we stepped out of the way. But we were kind of flustered because here we had waited so patiently for the women in front of us to finish choosing, and we were kind of bullied out of the way. But anyways, we did find beautiful baskets that we purchased, and my friend and I purchased baskets at that stall, and then they didn't take, they were only taking cash. So our third friend decided to wait. And she did make a good choice, because little did we know that we went into the next tent over. There was a bigger stand of many more baskets. And then we went into the last tent, the fourth tent, and there was an even bigger stand of many more baskets to choose from. So definitely this was the fiber fair of the baskets, which was fun. I will say that the poor people in the fourth tent, it was like a red and turquoise colored tent top, and it made everything in there discolored, and so it was really hard to purchase anything because it felt weird, which is interesting that light can affect you that much and affect a purchasing decision so much. But anyways, that aside, it was so much fun, and it was definitely the year of the baskets. And all three of us went home with beautiful knitting baskets, and we were so thrilled with them. So once again, you probably can find these online, but it is African, here, let's put this through, African market baskets. So then that got me thinking. When I came home, I was thinking, oh yeah, I had an African bag a long time ago when we lived in Africa, and I wonder where it is. So I went digging in the basement in our luggage big bin, and there at the bottom I found my African bag, and it is a sisal. It's very similar in patterning, but it's different materials. These African baskets are made out of reeds. And this is from East Africa, it's made out of sisal. And before, I should have brought the leather handles and the leather top, that there was a purse top that went over, and it had flaps that attached so that it remained closed, that had long leather handles. And I never used it as a purse anymore. And I thought, why am I letting this beautiful basket, beautiful colored basket, go to waste in the bottom of my luggage bin? Why can't I repurpose it for something else? And so I took off the leather attachments, the leather handles and the leather purse top, and the leather clasps, and I thoroughly wet it, got it wet, and then I reshaped it to be more of like a basket rather than a bag, and left it out in the sun to dry. And it dried, that was when we were having warm weather last week, and it dried in an afternoon, so it dried very quickly. So it also gave me the idea for some of you, and now I have yarn in it, hand spun, and it's going to be, I'm probably going to put it down by my spinning wheel and it's going to be a fiber basket just to hold my fiber in it when I'm not spinning. So, but it gave me the idea that sometimes you can find these sisal baskets at secondhand stores or thrift shops, and they look like purses because they have the leather purse top and the big leather handles, but you can repurpose them. You can take off the leather accoutrements and wet them down and just turn them into baskets for yarn. So anyways, that's an idea, and I will now be looking at thrift stores for sisal baskets. So I'm just so pleased that something that I had from long ago can be repurposed, and I can have it out, and it can remind me of that time. It was funny because, I mean, I hadn't gotten this bag out in years, and it's in the storage thing in the basement, and we haven't had a problem with mice, but we have had a mouse in the basement, and we had a mouse in the kitchen, both of which I caught and disposed of, much to the boys' enjoyment. But there was a mouse nest. The bag was folded, and it was kind of in there, and there weren't any mice, and there actually weren't any mice droppings there, but it was all this chewed up fluff, and it was really fluffy, and so it had been the home of a mouse. I was thankful that the basket hadn't been chewed up, or the leather had been you could see little bite marks in the leather, but for some reason it didn't continue with that. So, but anyways, very pleased with my baskets. It's so fun. It's always fun to turn something that you're not using for one purpose into something you will use for another purpose. But then on the creative side, that was my latest expedition. But on the creative side, I love fall. I cannot get enough of fall. The leaves and the cool weather and just the cozy feeling and the rain. I love the rain. We don't get a ton of rain here, and I would definitely say it's very, very seasonal. It's either in the spring or in the late autumn, and I just love the rain. It's so cozy. I know you guys are going to laugh at me, those of you who live in England and get lots of rain, but when you don't get tons of rain, it feels so nice, and you know that the trees are so happy because we have had a lot of dead trees, especially because we had some drought years recently, but I'm just so happy for the trees. But John was sick a week ago, and he had a fever for some reason, no other symptoms, but we kept him home from school so that he would be home for the 24-hour after have a fever period, which I hope if you are a mom and you send your kids to school, if you can do that, it helps other kids not catch things. Oh, anyways. So we made leaf garlands, and again, I used my bits of felted sweaters that I have, felted knit sweaters, and these are thrifted sweaters from the secondhand store that either have holes in them or you can't use, and you felt them in the washing machine and then you dry them, and then they can be used for all sorts of creative things. And I had little bits that are very small pieces that you really just are going to use for applique or wall hanging, and so John and I strung these, and we started with green leaves, and we did some yellow leaves and brown leaves and orange leaves, and down to white leaves, just to kind of give the progression of the leaves and how they turn. And that was a ton of fun for John. I would poke the needle through the felt, and then he would pull the thread through and pull the leaf down on the string. And I just freehanded the leaves, so they're not perfect, so that they don't look too perfect. And then I used thread, so that the leaves would shimmer and turn, and that kind of, when they're hanging up, and I hung these from the ceiling in the playroom, just to kind of make it more festive for the boys for fall. They kind of shimmer and turn as if they're in the breeze, so that's kind of fun for them. We also made one for the kitchen window, a longer one. So that's an idea of some things that you can, another decorating idea for fall. And then, I love things that you can do with wool. I made acorns. Oh, they're so cute. So, you all probably know that you're not supposed to bring acorns inside because they have worms. Several years ago, I did not know that. And we have tons of acorns around our house, and all different kinds. We have these, let me get the hang of this, these woolly ones with a big, thick, woolly top. And then we have the traditional flat-topped ones. And then we have these teeny weeny ones. They're so cute. And we have another kind too, which I do not have here. But we have a lot of them, so it's fun to decorate with because they're easy to find around our house. Well, someone said, "Oh, don't you know that they have worms in them and they come out and they can be quite a mess to clean up?" And I said, "No, I didn't." So I went and looked. I had put them in a glass vase, and then I had put a candle on top of them. And I looked at the bottom of the glass vase, and sure enough, it was alive with worms. So I threw out all the acorns, and I have been very vigilant about not allowing acorns into the house, which is, I just actually, right before I came up, found some that John had put in a little bag and snuck into the house. He had been playing with them. So I disposed of them. But I said that we can always pick up acorn tops and we can play with them. And we do play with the acorn tops because they don't have the worms in them. So, but what I did is I took, again, these are felted sweaters, little bits of felted sweaters, and I cut little circles about that big for some of the biggest ones and smaller for some of the smaller ones. And then I took tacky glue and I spread the tacky glue on the little round circle that I had made and then gathered it up, and then I spread tacky glue all on the inside of the acorn top. Just filled the cap, coated the sides of the cap. And then I pressed the little wool circle together that had the glue in it, and I pressed it in. And you will maybe see a tiny bit of the glue come out on the sides, but the glue dries clear, which is nice. And this is the tacky glue that you can pick up at any craft supply shop. And the nice thing about the tacky glue is it kind of makes the wool stiff, so it makes it like an acorn, and then it really holds on the inside of that cap. And I've let Arthur play with them, and he can't destroy them, so with the tacky glue on the inside of the felt and then on the inside of the cap, they're very strong. So it's just fun to have a bowl full of these to look at and to play around with, and the boys have enjoyed it, and I've enjoyed making them. So, and the fun thing about this is you can keep them. You can keep them year after year, and they won't have worms. I have thought, wouldn't it be fun to Mod Podge or shellac the acorn tops so that they really shine? So that's something that I have yet to try, but I am going to try it. But if you have, you could even use little bits of felt, acrylic felt that you get at Joann's. It wouldn't be as cute, but you can also pick up wool felt fabric in rug hooking supplies, and you could make little plaid ones. I mean, the options are endless of what the things that you can do. You could also just make knit baubles and put them on, or you can buy the felted balls and glue them on with tacky glue. The felted wool balls, I kind of liked doing the round circles because you could shape them more like acorns, whereas the balls kind of look more perfect, maybe. So anyways, that's another idea. I'm always crazy, full of crazy ideas. But, so those are some of the creative things outside of knitting that I've been doing. I wanted to mention that we did get another postcard from the lovely, one of our viewers in Florida. And this is from Devin. Devin, thank you so much. John was thrilled. They are so cute. We were wondering, I should ask you this in Ravelry, if you've ever seen a manatee. Are they easy to see around Florida, or they're so cute. They're related to the elephant, Devin said. Isn't that cute? So cute. And I posted the postcards that we've gotten. We also got one from Texas, from Watercolor Tales, from my mom when she was in Texas. So I put those up in the Ravelry group, and if you're not part of the Ravelry group, go and join so that you can see the postcards. And if you want to send us a postcard, go ahead and just write me in Ravelry and message me, and we'd love to have a postcard from you. It's fun to get postcards from different places, and it's fun to show John different places, and they go up on his world map. We have a world map in the playroom, and they're going along the edge of it. So, and we're talking about where the different postcards are from, and I've mentioned this in previous episodes, but I just think it's helpful for children to remember that they're part of a bigger picture. They're not the center. So this is one way of doing it. There's many ways, but it's helpful for children to remember that they're part of a larger world. So that's out there to see. So he's enjoying this. So thank you very much. We really love them. And one of these days I'm going to get a big stack of postcards, and I'm going to send you all postcards back. So now I should move on to finished objects, because there are some finished objects. There should be, right? It's been long enough. Well, the first one is I finally have a new pattern out. Well, it's not new. It's a older pattern of mine, the Little Professor Vest, and I revamped it to include now includes sizes newborn through 12 months, and I also put in a back placket, button placket, so that it's easier to get over the little baby's head, poor thing. And then I also added charts for the cables, as well as written instructions, so you can have both there, and a schematic. Those are so important, aren't they? So this is finally available. It was available for free at previously, but because of all the work that went involved, and there's production costs, believe it or not. There's tech editing, and I had a lovely lady test knit it for me, which was so helpful. So it is well, I should say, in that, thank you very much, Patty, for test knitting it for me, and she has a lovely little grandson now wearing it. And thank you, Gina of Brownie Knits. She is a wonderful tech editor. So if you ever need patterns tech edited, she is awesome. She's so helpful, and the way she thinks about things is just very, very helpful. So anyways, this will now be on for a for sale pattern on Ravelry, and I know I've been getting lots and lots of messages about it, so it's finally here. And hopefully I can message most of you all back to let you know that it's up. So I'm very pleased to have it out finally. I will say one thing about buttons. I like using different buttons. I love collecting buttons. I love finding old vintage buttons at antique shops, and on vintage items that maybe have holes in them, and you are going to throw the shirt or jacket away, I always save the buttons. And then I like using different buttons combined together on an item. And here, you can see what they look like. I use green buttons, but they're different sizes and they're different shapes on the back of this. And I don't know, it's just me, but I think it looks adorable. So anyways, so the little Professor vest, it is out, and I'm so relieved. There's some more patterns coming out, which will be fun to talk about in the next few weeks coming up. So the other thing that was done was I finished another pair of socks. I'm getting a start on my Christmas knitting. Are any of you getting a start on your Christmas knitting? Oh my goodness. There's a lot that I want to knit, but that happens every year, doesn't it? And I don't feel like getting in the Christmas knitting spirit until it's actually cold. So now that that's happened, we can get in the Christmas knitting spirit. Socks for my mom. So this year I am determined to have more pairs of socks for her. I think last year, again, I had just had a baby. So, and after Arthur was born, I struggled with carpal tunnel, and I couldn't knit for weeks, which was really hard. It was really, really sad. But they say that sometimes that happens at late in the pregnancy and after you deliver, and it happened to me. It was really frustrating. So these are this is Kroy sock yarn in the Rusty Stripes colorway, and I loved it. It is so awesome. I don't have access to a lot of different colors here locally, and then because I want to knit at least a couple of pairs for my mom for Christmas. I only knit her one last year, so I need to make up for that. I found online, has anyone ever ordered from Mary Maxine? I've never ordered from that yarn distributor before, but they had patent Kroy sock yarn for $2.99 a skein, and that's a good deal. So basically you're getting a set of socks for $6, which is usually the cost of one patent's Kroy sock yarn. So I was thrilled. So I got 3 different colors, and it came really quickly too. I got where's the mix colorway? So this is mix. And then, no, that's not mix. They don't have their colors names out in, well, you guys, I don't see a colorway on here. Isn't that frustrating? Well, anyways, I got this more autumnal colorway. And I got this one. And then I got this one. It's kind of springy colors. So I am looking forward to knitting those up. I'm set with some sock yarn, which always is a good feeling. Sock yarn is one of those things that you just have to stock up on. Then another finished thing. So that, I guess, that was a little bit of finished items and stash enhancement all rolled into one. I don't know if that sale on Mary Maxim is still going, but it was a very good sale. I got a cup pow. Basically an adult sippy cup lid. It's the top, the pink plastic thing, for a mason jar, and you can buy them to fit either wide mouth or regular mouth mason jars, and I love it for water and also for hot tea. And usually in the morning I haven't had enough tea by the time it's ready lunchtime and I have to go pick up John from school. So I just pop my tea into the mason jar, and then take it with me. And it was it burns your fingers, so I needed a cozy. So I took my leftover sock yarn from my mom's socks and cast on 64 stitches to my 2.25 millimeter double points, and I did a little bit of ribbing. Then I just knit plain and then did a little more ribbing, and it's the perfect little cozy for a mason jar. Isn't that great? So now I don't burn my hands. It's wonderful, and it was a fast, easy project. This would make a fun gift for a friend for whenever. If you bought her or him the lid and a mason jar and then made a cozy. And it would be fun to stuff it with like hot chocolate packets or tea, different kinds of tea, or coffee if you're a coffee drinker. So anyways, that's an idea. I got my cup bow lid on Amazon, and it was like $8, so it was nice and easy. I don't know, there must be a shop that sells them too, but I don't have one around here. So if you guys know of a regular shop that sells these, let us know. But otherwise, they're available on Amazon. So again, 64 stitches on 2.25 millimeter needles, and just a little bit of ribbing and stocking knit, and you can have a little cup cozy too. I finished spinning, but I haven't plied. Does that count? I don't know. Some fiber, and this is the fiber that I had dyed and talked about last time, and I'm going to make this into mittens. So it's a gradient spin, and I'm going to Navajo ply it, so it's going to be a 3-ply, and then hopefully I'm going to be making mittens out of them. So I guess this is works in progress, so I guess we've moved into that. So I'm excited about that. I don't know whether they're going to be mittens for me or mittens for John, so we'll have to see. It's super wash, the roving that I got from Knit Picks and then dyed up myself. It's fun to dye things, but it's also fun just to get it from Etsy and the beautiful dyers on Etsy, because I can never get the colorways that I want. Speaking of mittens, my mittens are in progress. And again, I'm using the Susan B. Anderson's Waiting for Winter mitten pattern, and it's just a very easy pattern. In many respects, it's just, it gives you what to do, and you can substitute different aspects for whatever you want to do. Like I substituted a different pointy mitten top that I wanted to do for the top that she does, but you don't have to. You can do the one that she has. I'm using hand spun for this. It's Navajo ply, and it is Corriedale fiber that I got at the fiber event in Greencastle a long time ago. And it's probably a heavy Aran weight yarn, but I am knitting it on size 7 needles, so I am getting about 3.5 stitches to the inch. So I've adjusted the pattern a little bit because I think her gauge is a little different. I don't see a gauge. Oh, maybe I'm on the wrong page. 5 stitches per inch in stockinette, yes. So I'm doing the smallest size because my gauge is bigger, and my hands are usually a medium, so but I'm doing the smallest size, and they're coming out to be mediums because my gauge is larger. I love it because it's very, very dense, and mittens, in order to be effective, need to be very, very dense. at least if you live in a cold climate. So I am finished almost with the first one, and I'm working on the second one. I'm a little unsure if I'm going to have enough yarn to, I think I will, to finish the mittens, but I might not have enough yarn to do the thumbs. And so I thought I'd leave the thumb plain and then see if I have enough to do both thumbs. If I don't, I will be doing it in a corresponding color. So, and that's kind of fun. Have you seen mittens that have different color thumbs? They're so cute. So anyways, that's just a little trick that I do sometimes if I'm dealing with yardages that I'm not too sure about. But they're coming along nicely. I really love it. It has a little bit of lanolin in it, so it will provide a wonderful barrier. So that is that. That's another work in progress. Another work in progress that I have going on is an oldie. This is one that I started last year. And, oh, I don't have the pattern. Oh, I do have the pattern. It's right there. It is the wonderful Hansel by the Shetland Trader. Isn't it beautiful? It's a very traditional blanket or shawl. It's a hap, traditional Shetland hap shawl. So it's knit from, you make a square first, and you start at one end, you increase out, and then you decrease out, just like a washcloth. But then you pick up the stitches on the edge of the square, and then you knit out, and you knit the lace edging. And then the last piece is the lace edging that you knit on around, and you go around. So I am using a 1-ply wool. The closest thing to this would be a Biggs and Little 1-ply, I think. Or Jared Flood's yarn, Shelter. I think he has a 1-ply yarn. I would not recommend this yarn company. I got this several years ago when I was doing a project. I was knitting through Elizabeth Zimmerman's book. Oh, can't believe I forget the name of the book. Anyways, it's my favorite one that is about, it's basically her autobiography, and she has knitting patterns in it. And I was knitting through it, and I needed this to do one of the projects. I think it was the socks. I was going to make all the different 2-colored socks in there. And I got it from Cottage Craft Yarn Company, and they are out of Canada, right up above Maine. And I ordered the yarn, and over the phone, and it didn't come, and it didn't come. And 3 months later, I called, and I said, hey, I'm going to cancel my order, and because the yarn hasn't arrived. And so they said, okay. And then a year later, the yarn arrived, and my credit card was charged for the yarn. And I called up and I said, what? I canceled the order, and I don't need this yarn because it's a year later. And so anyways, he said, well, it's going to be more trouble to me to try to return it, so how about I give you a discount on it, which I still wasn't very happy with because I really didn't need it at the time, but I also didn't want to make it a headache for him. So I said okay, and I kept the yarn, and he gave me a lower price on it. But don't order from that yarn company. I don't even know if they're still in existence, but get something else. So don't get this yarn. But it is nice yarn. It works. It's a nice working yarn. It's a very traditional yarn, but it's knitting up beautifully. I have the white, and then I have this light brown, and then I have this dark brown. So it's going to be showing up black on the screen, but it really is just a dark chocolatey brown. So it's going to be beautiful, and I'm looking forward to finishing it. It is going to take some time, so you will see it again. It's a nice big work in progress, but I'm looking forward to having it done because it will be very warm. You wear it folded over, doubled, and so it will be extremely warm, which is nice. I always get cold in the wintertime. Another work in progress is kind of something that I finished a long time ago, but something that I'm going to put back on the needles. This is a scrappy cardigan that I made, and it's very long, like a coat cardigan, out of my fingering weight scraps. And I know you're thinking, what? Well, it's from color work projects that I've done, and socks, and shawls, and so it's not all from socks, but lots of shawls and color work projects. But it's so colorful and it's so fun. But I made it when I was a little smaller, and now I'm a little bigger. So my plan is to pick up the button band again. So I have a button band here, and I have the same yarn, and I'm going to pick it up, and I'm just going to knit a wider button band so that it will close more in the front. That's the plan. We'll have to see how it goes. The other alternative is that I just have to lose weight, but that's probably not going to happen. Oh, goodness. So, anyways, that is that. This is quite a fun piece, and I miss wearing it. Even though I do feel like Joseph and the coat of many colors, it's just too fun. So, Scrappy, my scrappy cardigan. So that is going back on the needles, and hopefully I'll have that finished soon. Hopefully I'll be wearing that soon. That would be fun. And then last but not least is my lovely Cozy Memories blanket. And I'm doing mine, if you remember, out of hand spun. All my hand spun. Because it's so fun to remember the little bits. It's also fun to do just a little bit of hand spun, to try out a new fiber preparation or a new to me fiber. So it's made it very pleasurable. I don't think I've added on that many. I think I've added on 4 squares: the red, the purple, the pink, and then the dark brown. And I've kind of run out of hand spun. I have lots of hand spun, but the bits and ends. So I started stealing. I stole some from a bigger skein, and I'm going to wind up this one. This was leftovers that I spun, and this is some beautiful hand spun that I did on my Spindolin a long time ago. So I'm going to wind that up, and then I'm going to steal from these 2 skeins. I'm going to wind these up. These are going to be the next pair of mittens that I'm going to make, and I'm going to steal some for my Cozy Memories blanket. That's allowed, right? You're allowed to do that. That's the good kind of stealing. So, as usual, I'm probably forgetting something. There's always something going on here, something creative, but oh well. Oh, yes, I am forgetting it. Where is it? I finished my Aunt Nina's hat. And here it is. Yay! This should have gone at the beginning. This is a finished object. It is the Barley hat, and it is knit out of hand-spun Scottish blackface sheep wool, which is a ancient breed of sheep that usually nowadays we don't use for hand knitting because it's very rough. It has guard hairs. It's a dual coated fleece, so it has guard hairs. And let's see if you can see. You see the hairy guard hairs sticking out, as well as a downy undercoat. And So it takes a lot of preparation to split them out. And as you see, I did not. I left them in and I spun it up, and then I applied it with a merino so that it's a little bit softer. And then I lined it, went ahead and lined it with alpaca and silk. It's an alpaca and silk blend. And so that it will be nice and warm as well as soft on your head, because there's nothing worse than when you're out in the cold and you have an itchy hat. Ugh, isn't that awful? But I thought this would be fun to send my Aunt Nina in Maine. She has a sheep farm where she raises Scottish blackface sheep, and I thought it would be fun for her to have some of her own sheep to wear. So she raises them for meat, not for their fleece. So she has lots of fleeces though, so I'm always coming up with things to do with her fleece. I mentioned on one of the previous episodes that I washed the rest of the fleece from her, and I'm going to be using it as stuffing for a pillow after I watched the Tales from a Green Valley on YouTube, and it's about a Tudor, is that right? No, it's not Tudor times. It's 1620s, Pilgrim times, house, a farm on the border of Wales, and they reconstructed it, and then they worked it as it would have been worked in 1620, and then they show you that on YouTube. You can look up Tales from a Green Valley, and in their shearing episode, they mentioned how the fleece of the sheep was so prized back then. It was the wealth of England at the time, that no little bit of it went to waste. So even the bits that were filled with dung and were stripped from the fleece before it was sold, the farmers would save that, and they would soak it and clean it and then use it to stuff pillows. And the poor would come around and beg a handful of the fleece, so that eventually, after years and years of collecting the fleece, they would have their own wool pillow, because most of their pillows and bedding were made out of straw mattresses and straw pillows. So anyways, I will be showing that to you soon. I don't have the right fabric for the pillow that I want to make for the boys, so I will be getting that soon, and then showing you that. So that will be to come. So I think that's all for right now, which is good, because I hear Arthur. And you can find me on Ravelry as Christina Wall. You can find my designs under Christina Wall on Ravelry. You can find the group A Knitter's Life in Ravelry as well. Come and join. We'd love to have new people join us, and it's always fun to talk to you guys. So thank you, all of you who interact on Ravelry. It's fun to converse with you and talk with you and see what you're knitting. And then you can also find me on Instagram too. And usually on Instagram, I usually am posting daily. So you can find me on Instagram as A Knitter's Life. So I hope to see you at one of those places. See you soon. Happy knitting. Bye-bye.